Welcome to the Service Industry Podcast. I've spent the last decade as a CEO, operator, and business builder selling tens of millions of dollars in products and services. I, just like many of you, started with nothing. My mission for this podcast is to help you become the greatest version of yourself, help you grow and scale your business, and create the life you've always dreamed of. I'm your host, Matt Smith. Enjoy the episode. What is going on, everybody? Matt here from the Service Industry Podcast. Hope everybody's doing well today. Man, spring is in full effect here in Michigan, and my mood has increased dramatically. Hope you guys are doing good. Today, we're going to be talking about kind of the customer journey, the customer life cycle inside of your business. And this is actually a challenge that we're doing inside of our 30-day challenge right now. And today we actually have this challenge in place, and I want to just talk about it on here because I think it's valuable. I think it's something almost nobody does. If I'm being very honest, I think it's something hardly any of you guys will do after listening to this because it does take some time. But one thing I always say in the home service business space is that majority of home service companies, and this is not a knock on blue collar guys because I am a blue collar guy, tried and true, man. Those are my people, but they just don't run businesses like guys in other industries, like guys in e-com and guys in SaaS. Those guys understand the customer journey and life cycle. They take it so serious. But in the home service business space, dude, people just kind of answer their phone and go out and turn wrenches and go home and do it the next day. That's why this industry is so incredible, because there's so much opportunity to be better than everybody else without really that much effort. And so this is one of those things I'm talking about today that will make you that much better than everybody else without a ton of effort. If you just kind of hunker down and understand the customer life cycle journey, whatever you want to call it, inside your business. Before we dive in, you guys know I own ServiceIndustryCoach.com. We help home service businesses with all of their marketing and coaching and consulting. So if you need print marketing, Google ads, logo designs, truck wrap designs, full branding, you want to rebrand the whole company, we are your guys, okay? We have done this for over 6 years. I've helped hundreds of home service businesses all over the country. I've helped many people go from 0 to 7 figures, and I've done it in my own businesses as well. So if you want tried and true designs, templates, strategies, or you just want to do one-on-one coaching with me, go to ServiceIndustryCoach.com or click the link in the show notes. And as always, if you haven't joined the free Facebook group, the link is always in the show notes as well. I think we got 270 some people in there, all home service business owners. Solid spot to be. Go join. Would love to have you. When you do join, just tell me what kind of business you own. That way I can let you in. All right, cool. So like I'd mentioned, this is a challenge that we're actually doing today in our 30-day challenge. And my challenge to all the guys in the group were, hey, today I want us to document what our customer journey looks like. And the best way to do that is to put yourself in the customer's shoes, right? And so basically the way I look at doing this, and it's a little bit different for every business depending on, what your business is and what you sell and how you service and all of that stuff. But I'm going to give you a real basic overview today, and you can kind of tweak this how you want to do it. But I'm telling you guys, I don't know how else to get this across. This is so important because this is the stuff right here that makes your customer experience great. This is the part where your customers go and rave to their friends and family about you because they had such an amazing experience. Customers don't have amazing experiences because you're good at your service, okay? I want you to write that down, by the way. A customer doesn't have a good experience because you're good at your service. They have a good experience because of the overall customer journey they went on inside of your business. Okay, I want you to get that straight because a lot of you think, and listen, I've coached a lot of people that are like, well, this competitor, they sell this product or this service and they do it this way and that's wrong. And I'm better because I give them the triple A part with the blah, blah, blah. And our customers get a superior product and all. Guess what, dude? It doesn't matter. Okay? Because the company that you're comparing yourself to that you think you're better than is doing 10 or 20 million a year and you're doing 3, 4, maybe 500,000. They're smashing you. You know why? Because their customer experience is better than yours. Okay, and you're confused. You're confused because you think providing the highest quality service because you're the best at turning the wrench makes the experience for the customer great. It doesn't. Hate to break it to you. Obviously, it's important to provide the customer a service that's good, okay? But that isn't what makes them happy. What makes them happy is the journey that you and your company take them on from start to finish, okay? Like, no offense, but being good at turning the wrench is just a requirement. Like, it's just what they expect, okay? You don't go out there and mow the yard perfectly or change the water softener perfectly and they go, oh my gosh, you're so much better than everybody else because you can cut the grass. No, dude. They expect you to know how to cut the grass with straight lines because you're a professional. That's what you do. They expect you to know how to go and change out the water softener without flooding their basement. That's what you do. They expect that. That's just a basic low-level requirement. However, most home service guys think that is what separates them, and that is why they stay small. Okay? And so the way I want you to think about this is I want you to put yourself in the customer's shoes from the first point of contact. And you could start at the point of contact saying like, okay, cool. The first thing they do is call. But what I would do is, how do they hear about me? Okay? If you really want to deep dive this customer experience, where do they find me? What does that feel like? What does my brand feel like wherever they're finding me? Maybe it's a Facebook ad. Maybe it's a Google ad. Maybe something's pushing them to a landing page in your website. When they land on my website, does my website feel expensive, luxury, high-end, or do we feel like a basic handyman company? Okay, is it branded to our brand? Are the photos on it taken on a cell phone? Right? What does it feel like when they see you for the first time ever? That's step number one. Step number two, if they decide to reach out to me, what happens? You're like, well, I answer the phone. No, you got to go deeper in that. When you answer the phone, what do you say every single time? Okay, and I want you to almost imagine you're doing this for an office person, and you might be like, well, I don't have any employees, so I'm not going to do that yet. No, that's the exact opposite way you need to be thinking. Let me just be honest with you. The guys that wait until they have employees to do this kind of stuff oftentimes fail because it is so much harder to do once you already have staff in place who are doing things a certain way. Do you know how hard it is to unteach something to somebody? Okay, not impossible, but very challenging. So if you don't have employees, you have a massive advantage over majority of us who do have employees because you can start this today and implement everything yourself. So when you hire your first employee, it's already in place. Okay, so when I answer the phone, what do I say? Write that script down. I want you to write it word for word as if you were handing it off to an office person who's going to start answering your phones. And maybe some of you will, okay? But that script needs to be written down. What are some of the frequently asked questions? I want you to write those down, and I want you to write down the answers for them with a script, word for word. Okay? Why? Because we want every single customer to have the exact same experience. Because if Mrs. Jones calls and has questions and has us come out and do a quote and has us do the job and all of that, and then she loves what we did and she refers us to Mrs. Smith, and then Mrs. Smith has a completely different customer experience than Mrs. Jones, well, that doesn't align with things. Now Mrs. Smith's going to go back to Mrs. Jones and be like, I'll be honest, I'm not impressed. She's like, what do you mean? They were amazing. And then they start talking and they realize their two experiences were completely different. Okay? That's because people don't have their customer experience mapped out. And so we start with the initial call. Document what needs to be said every single time. From there, what happens next? Let's just assume you guys do an estimate. Okay? Well, what are the requirements for that estimate? Do you guys require that all of your estimates be done within 24 hours or less? The answer should be yes. Okay? Because you will lose jobs if not. But every single job, as long as the customer will allow you to do so, should be done. Every estimate should be done within 24 hours or less. Okay? Now, perfect. Now, what goes along with that? Okay? We can't just say, well, we're just going to do quotes in 24 hours. What does that look like for the customer? Well, it might look like they get automated text messages and emails 24 hours before and an hour before their appointment. Okay? Perfect. What do those automated emails and text messages say? Write it down. Document it. Okay? And then when you go to implement it, you already have everything. You guys, are you tracking with me where this is going? Every single part of the customer journey is documented and planned out on purpose. What this does is allows us to walk the customer through a specific journey rather than the customer walking us through a specific journey of theirs. Okay? So next step might be sales guy's out on his appointment, right? Doing a sale, doing an estimate rather. Cool. When he knocks on the door, what does he do? This is how specific we're getting. When he knocks on the door, what does he do? How many times does he knock? What is the knocking pattern? When he knocks, does he take 2 or 3 steps back from the door so the customer has room to breathe? What does he say when the customer opens the door? Do you guys have any of this in place? If the answer is no, your customer journey isn't in place, okay? When he's giving the estimate, how does he present it to the customer? Does he have a presentation? Does he have estimate sheets? Does he sell in packages? Does he get the customer outside and walk them around the house how does he do it? How does she do it? Okay? Is there a specific way, or are we just free-willing every single quote out there? We just knock on the door, hey, my name's Matt. I'll do a quote real quick and I'll leave it on your door for you. Or here, I'll hand it to you. Give me a call if you're interested. Okay? I talked to a guy in a roofing business the other day, and actually one of the customer support reps. And he said, we're having a hard time closing jobs right now. I'm like, why? He's like, well, because they give the estimate and they don't try to close them. They'll just say, let me know, what you decide. And they just kind of walk out the door. Well, there's no structure in place. There's no customer journey in place. There's no sales process in place. So where there's lack of process will be lack of results. So of course they're not closing deals, right? And the same thing will go to you. But guess what? Imagine somebody calls, or rather they land on your website. It's branded completely to you. You have a great brand, by the way. Okay, you need to be paying somebody lots of money to create a great brand for you if you haven't done so. That could be us or somebody else. I don't care. But that is important as it gets nowadays. You have a great brand. They land on a landing page that represents the brand well. It feels expensive. It feels high end. It's attracting the right customer. They call. The phone actually gets answered. It gets answered the exact same way every time. They get set up for an estimate within 24 hours. They get automated emails, automated text messages. Maybe they also even get a phone call from the sales guy. The sales guy shows up. He knocks on the door a certain way. He talks to the customer a certain way. He does the estimate a certain way. He presents the quote a certain way. He closes the customer a certain way. Everything is the same every single time. Can you see the power in this? Now, this can get a little overwhelming, and what I would encourage you to do is break this into chunks, right? So I might say like, okay, cool. I'm gonna basically break this into chunks. Maybe it's the initial contact phase, and then the sales phase, and then the operations phase, and then the closeout phase, right? So maybe there's 4 or 5 phases that you want to work on, and you can break them down phase by phase so you can really not overwhelm yourself, right? And so we go a step further. We go, okay, cool. Now we won the job, let's say. And inside of that, right, inside of the sales cycle, let's say he doesn't close the job or she doesn't close the job on the spot. Well, what does our follow-up systems look like? When do we follow up? How often do we follow up? What do we say when we follow up, right? There's all of this stuff that needs to be documented. But let's just say we win the job. Cool. Now we're sending a crew out to go do the work, right? What do? Every single job. How do they knock on the door? How do they explain it to the customer? How do they explain to the customer what's about to happen? How do they upsell the customer with opportunities for services the customer needs that they've recognized once they're on the roof or on the house? All of these things need to be documented, because if they're not, every single job will be different, meaning every customer journey and experience will be different as well. So I encourage you guys, I'm not gonna go through every single one of these because you guys get it. But I encourage you guys to sit down and break these into chunks and go, okay, cool. This week I'm going to work on the initial phase, the initial contact phase, meaning where are people finding me? Where is that directing them to? Probably a website, maybe a Facebook page, whatever the case is, but probably your website. What does my brand feel like? You might stop right there and go, my brand feels like crap. Okay, cool. We're going to start there. We're going to invest some money into creating a better brand. Doesn't mean we have to change the business name, but we might change the entire brand feel. And because of that, it's going to allow you to attract higher end customers, right? So people are scared to spend, let's just say $1,500, $2,000. Gosh, some companies are out there charging $15,000 or $20,000 to recreate brands. Okay, but like for us, when we're recreating brands, it's anywhere between like $1,500 and $2,000. Okay, one job from a high end customer pays for the entire recreation of that brand. One job, right? And some of you might be attracting customers you don't want. I would take a really hard look at what does your brand look and feel like, and also what does your customer journey feel like as well. Because you might be attracting the exact same type of people or the same energy that your brand is putting off. And some of you don't think that's real. It's absolutely real. I don't care if we're in the home service business space or the apparel space or e-com or anything. Brand matters. That's why you like to buy shoes from specific brands. That's why you like to buy clothes from specific brands, okay? Now, some of it might be like, well, I like the way their shirts fit, but you also like the brand, okay? There's brands that I only buy clothes from because I like the brand. And oftentimes, it's brands that a lot of people don't hear of. Why? Higher status, more expensive clothes, that kind of thing for me. If I truly take a look at like, okay, why do I like Cuts clothing? Okay, there's a company called Cuts. Why do I like their stuff? Well, it does fit good. It is high quality. The brand is high quality and it's expensive. And so I'm willing to pay for a shirt $100, for a t-shirt $100, or a pair of joggers $150 because they fit way better. They last way longer. They don't shrink. And also, there's some status that goes along with it. And so I'm willing to pay an extra $50 or $75 for their clothes versus going to Levi's and buying a pair of pants from them. The same is for your business, you guys. It's absolutely no different. Somebody will not only be willing to pay your business more based on how your brand makes them feel, but also the way the customer journey is set up for them. Okay? So I want you guys to understand how important this is. And so start with your initial contact phase. Figure out what is going on inside of your business right now. And for some of you, you might be like, I do everything, dude. I answer the phones. I do the job. That's cool. No problem. Guess what? You still need to be doing all of these things. You still need to be documenting all of these processes and putting them in place. Because here's what I can guarantee will happen is if you have a good brand and you have systems in place so the customer journey is the exact same every single time, your business will grow faster and you will need to hire people faster. And when you hire people, you will already have this stuff in place. Okay, this is stuff nobody's talking about. You guys want to go watch a viral YouTube video about how somebody in your industry built a $20 million business and that gets you excited? Guess what? This is the stuff that they did that they're not talking about in those videos that got them there. Okay, I know this isn't like a super popular topic. In fact, I guarantee if I watch the analytics on the back end, this will not be an extremely high viewed episode based on the title. Why? Because it's not sexy, it's not fun, and people don't want to do it. But the people that do it, and the people that do understand the importance of it are the ones that are going to win. Meanwhile, everybody else is watching the YouTube shorts that are essentially clicking on their dopamine hits because they want to build a multi-million-dollar business, but they're not willing to do any of the stuff that actually builds multi-million-dollar businesses. Okay? And I'm here to tell you, if you're not careful, you will get stuck in this rut and businesses start to go backwards. I don't want you to be in this fairy tale land belief that you can just keep doing what you're doing and the revenue that you're doing now you'll always have. It's not true. I've seen it time and time again where businesses get lazy, owners get lazy, leaders get lazy, and they start to decrease in revenue year after year after year. I've seen it in businesses that are doing $10+ million that drop in half over a 2 or 3 year span, and it gets ugly. And the reason is because whoever was running the business, the leader of the company, didn't take this kind of stuff serious. He didn't implement systems inside of their business, or he did and he didn't make people hold the standard. Don't be that person. Okay? So I love you guys. I'll see you on the next episode. And if you need anything, all of my contact information is in the show notes. See you soon. Thank you for listening to this episode of the podcast. As always, if you need any help marketing your business or want to work with me directly doing one-on-one coaching, visit serviceindustrycoach.com. We'll see you on the next episode.